Initiating, initiating Rob's Arcade. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. Special hello to all my Arcadian Arcadettes out there. Want to welcome you to a special new segment here we're doing on the haunting of Rob's Arcade. That's not really in Rob's Arcade, we're more in Jason's cabin, which I thought would be kind of spooky for this new segment. As I've mentioned before, one of the things I want to do with this new, I guess, quote-unquote season, if you will, is bring you guys some new segments, some new little features here in Rob's Arcade, and this is going to be one of them, the haunting of Rob's Arcade, a new little segment as we get closer to Halloween. I was recently inspired by watching a TV show where they explore the ghost stories of celebrities, actually called Celebrity Ghost Stories. Now, I don't know if you guys believe in ghosts, if that's something that, you know, you believe in the paranormal or anything like that. I do. Oh, chilling. I absolutely, wholeheartedly do believe in the paranormal. Ghosts, aliens, specters, ghouls, all of that jazz. I'd be a perfect candidate for the Ghostbusters. Excuse me there. But, watching the show, I was inspired. I wanted to kind of share some of my own experiences with the other side. So hang out with me as we venture through Jason's cabin, and I share my first horror story. I have a few here. The first one I'm going to share with you is one of my earliest experiences with the paranormal, a tale I would like to call Demon Dogs. Now, this story took place back in the summer of 1990. Me and my friends were out of school, and in fact my father had taken me and my sister. Ooh, that's pretty gross. I was going to come over here and make some bacon, but that's kind of unsanitary. My father had taken myself, my sister, and a friend of mine to go see Gremlins 2, the new batch in the theaters. After school had let out, and we had a great time at the movie. Of course, we're all popcorned up and full of soda and candy, and you know, bouncing off the walls a little bit. And I remember my buddy, instead of just being dropped off, wanted to know if I wanted to stay the night at his house and kind of like keep the good times rolling, I guess, if you will. And you know, my dad was like, sure, yeah. So instead of dropping off my friend, we dropped off my sister. I packed a bag and got ready to head over to my friend's house. Now, I remember him being like, you know, not just excited because I was going to be staying the night. You know, we were both, like I said, all kind of like jazzed up on popcorn and stuff like that. But I remember him also being excited because he was like, I got to show you something. There's something I want to show you. And I didn't really take it for much at first. This guy was infamous for writing love letters and poems to a girl who lived in my neighborhood, just up the street from me, actually. And he would share these with me as he wrote them. And you know, what do you think of this one? I'm gonna slip this into her book bag on Monday. You know, what do you think of this one, kind of a thing. And as awkward as they were to listen to, a lot of times they were so much fun to go back and share with our other friends. Like, oh my God, you know, you won't believe what Sean wrote about so and so this time. So I figured it was something along those lines, although I was kind of hoping, like, at this point it wasn't like a shrine to her out in the middle of the woods somewhere or something crazy like that, or in his closet. So at any rate, we get over to his house, and his parents weren't like my parents, that, you know, would stay up late on the weekends and kind of hang out and stuff like that. Like, by the time we got back from the movie and, you know, back from my place, like, his parents were pretty much already talk about scary. This bacon is scary. What a sort of like trying to put some bacon together while I'm telling you this haunting story. This bacon is scary. So his parents were pretty much, like I said, already in bed by the time we got back to his apartment, and it was kind of cool. Like I remember we kind of made comment that like we went downstairs, we were watching Ninja Turtles, the 1989 original Ninja Turtles movie, and I remember like making the comment that it was like we kind of had like our own little like bachelor pad, if you will, like the place to ourselves or whatever. Uh, and uh, his parents, like I said, they were in bed. They never came down to really bother us or anything like that. And, uh, probably eating more junk food, more soda. After the movie was over, we went back upstairs, and I realized like he hadn't shown me like whatever it was like he wanted to show me. I think I'd asked him like when we first got to his place, and we're putting the book bags and stuff upstairs or whatever. And he's like, wait, we'll just wait, we'll wait. And then the movie was over, and again it's like, well, it's just we go upstairs like we'll just wait, we gotta wait. And I'm like, well, what the heck are we waiting for? And at first I hadn't really been that intrigued, but by now it's like it's after midnight, and I'm like, what are we waiting for? What is what is so special? We have to wait. It started getting late. He had a cot in his room that was like for me to sleep in, and he was in his bed. I was in the cot. We're both kind of like laying down, lights out, just kind of talking, goofing off. Typical 10, 11-year-old making fart and dick jokes and stuff like that. And, I was getting ready to fall asleep, I remember, at some point, and he's like, finally he's like, all right, he's like, get up, come on, it's time. And get up, and he cuts the light on in his bedroom for a second, and gets out a shoebox, like a little, your 10-year-old typical little treasure chest, and he opens it up, and inside it's got like a little pellet BB gun pistol, a little CO2 cartridge deal. He takes that out, and he pulls out a slingshot. He gives that to me. It's a nice one. It's got like the little wrist guard on there. He also grabs like a flashlight and a pair of binoculars, and he cuts his bedroom light back out and go over to his bedroom window. And he's looking out his bedroom window for a few moments, and I remember how quickly it happened, because I'm like, I'm curious as to what is going on. What are we doing? What are we looking at? And a lot of times in movies, like, you're looking for your white whale, like Jaws. You spend half the movie just looking for this thing. And very quickly, as if he had seen this before and knew what to look for, he was like, "Come here, there it is, come here, look." And I take the binoculars, and he points out to the far side, the far side of the parking lot. And on the far side of the parking lot, just underneath of a street lamp, I see a pack of wild dogs walking through the parking lot from the left to the right side. And it was eerie. Like, that itself was very chilling, because I had, we live in the suburbs, it's an apartment complex in the middle of the suburbs. I live in the suburbs, across from a little strip mall growing up, typical little, 80s kid growing up, going to school, just outside the neighborhood kind of a thing. And, you didn't see like wild dogs just walking around outside. And it wasn't like it was, you couldn't really tell like what kind of dogs they were, but they definitely weren't like all the same breed of dog, if you will. Which was kind of weird, because I'd never seen that except like in maybe like some Disney movie, or like, All Dogs Go to Heaven or something like that, Oliver and Company. And so it was just like really bizarre to see all these dogs just kind of like walking through a parking lot, and they weren't like just walking through in like a single file line. They were kind of like walking through like, just checking everything out, some sniffing over here, some checking out things over here. And under the street light, they just looked black. Like, you really couldn't tell what kind of dogs they were. They just looked like these black You know, some of them had like mangy hair, some of them had like short hair, but again, you couldn't really just tell like what they were. There was like these black dogs out there in the parking lot. Uh, you know, again, every now and again, the street light would kind of catch their eyes, and you could see that in the binoculars. Like they would kind of glow, like animal eyes will do. Uh, very very eerie. It seemed like at some point they were uh, looking at us like through the window. It looked just like impossible. I mean, like we were so far away, but it just felt like at some times like they would like look up, and it was like they were looking like directly uh, into, into the window. As they started like moving through the parking lot, I remember my friend kind of almost like grabbing me by the arm and like pulling me through the house, like come on, come on, come on, come on, and like taking me out of his bedroom to like, you know, there was like a hall, like a window, like just in the hallway and at the end of the hall, and we were like looking out there, and we could see them still like, you know, running all around, and um, then from there we would kind of like run downstairs to the kitchen and and look around through the window. We could see more, you know, of them like kind of like heading through the parking lot, if you will. So we go like down through the kitchen and like into the dining room. And so at some point, like he's actually like pulling me like through the sliding door, like we're going outside. And I was just like, there's no way, you know, there's just like no way I'm going out there. He'd called them the hellhounds, of course, you know. It's like when I'm upstairs, I'm like, what are those things? He was like, those are the hellhounds, you know. And I didn't know if they were hellhounds or not. I didn't care if they were hellhounds or not. But they were like wild dogs uh, running around outside in the parking lot. And I was like, that's just something I did not want to mess with. But, you know, we were armed. We had a flashlight. We had a slingshot, BB gun. Like, we were ready to fend off any beast that might come at us from hell. And so, armed to the teeth and against my better judgment, we headed outside. Now, once you know, we're outside, it's kind of typical of most apartments. You have like a little like privacy fenced in backyard, and you know, like almost like a little 6x6 or something, 8x8 square foot backyard or whatever it is. I don't know. Then you have just outside of that like a little path, a little dirt path outside the privacy fence where you could walk along behind the apartment complex, and it was also where people would put, I guess, like their trash cans and receptacles, and you know, the trash man would come and pick them up from there. When we got outside, everything it was very quiet. I remember thinking, like, with that many dogs running around outside, you know, we were bound to hear like a lot of kind of like huffing and puffing and kind of like, you know, I have one dog, and when she's running through the house, like with her bone or whatever, she sounds like a herd of horses. So the fact that we got outside and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and you know, it's like the dead of night, pardon me. I was just really surprised that I didn't hear more like huffing and even like dogs kind of like playing or any. It was just very, very eerie and very, very quiet. We didn't have our flashlight on because we didn't really want to call any attention to ourselves as we made our way along the back of the complex. And we got about, I want to say, like halfway past the neighbor's apartment when my friend finally, you know, something finally caught his eye just a little bit up the way on the dirt path. Like the dirt path didn't just run behind his building and his set of apartments, but it ran behind the entire apartment complex, and just up ahead, by some like trees and bushes, by the other complex, we could see it looked like a lab, like a black lab maybe or something, like sniffing around like some of the trees and stuff like that. Um, I remember almost being like really like afraid to do anything. Like I didn't want to go any further. I really didn't want to go back inside. Almost like I guess worried he might that was kind of crazy. Um, almost worried like if we move he would see us and come after us or bark or alert the other dogs or something. And so we were just kind of standing there, like, as he's pointing to this dog, like, look, there's one right there. And I'm just watching him just kind of like sniff and just do his thing. Um, my friend started reaching down on like this little dirt path, and he's like looking around, and he picked up a little, like a pebble, like a little rock, and wanted me to give him the slingshot. We're like trying to be quiet, but he's like gesturing to me, like, give me the slingshot, give me the slingshot. And I'm just like, no way am I giving you the slingshot. There's just no way this is happening right now. Um, you're like, give me the slingshot. Like, no, I'm not gonna give you the slingshot. So finally, like, he just gave up on the slingshot and took the air pistol. And I forget how you have to do it. Either like you slid the bottom pump or the top, or you did something to charge the CO2, but it makes like a loud kind of like clicking noise when you do so. And I just remember like he shot near the dog, I guess to try to get the dog's attention, which I still to this day I don't know what the heck and why, what the purpose of that would have been. Um, but as he shot near the dog never even looked at where the pellet went or the BB went or whatever, like it hits the leaves and the dirt, like it never even looked. As soon as he made the cocking noise and the sound with the pistol, the dog was looking right at us. And I can't tell you if the dog charged us, if the dog even chased us. All I know is that as soon as he made that noise and shot, I ran. Like I was probably already on my way towards the apartment before the BB even like registered through the air. If I I think I mean we both did. We ran so fast back in the house. I just like we didn't need um, demon dogs or any like hellhounds or anything out there to get us. Like I'm surprised we didn't just kill each other, um, trying to climb over each other and get back into this apartment. I would never, I'd never run so fast, so hard in such a short like space period of time. We got inside. I remember we just like ran back inside the apartment as fast as we could, and we stopped in the center of like his living room and just huffing and puffing, kind of like hands on our knees. And I'm sure I'm like, what the heck were you thinking? Like, what were you doing? Like, you're so stupid, And he's, I know. And we're kind of like freaking out. And as we're having our moment there, we started to hear the dogs outside, like like growling and snarling, and kind of like it sounded like they were fighting with each other, but not really fighting with each other, if you will. It froze us. Like our eyes were like saucers. We were like, oh my god, what is that kind of a thing? It went on for a few minutes, and what was more terrifying than the sound was the fact that we couldn't really pinpoint what direction it was actually coming from. And as we're sitting in the living room, it would sound like it was coming from the front of his apartment. And then it would like go kind of quiet, and then all of a sudden it sounded like it was shooting from the back of the apartment, and then again from the front. But instead of being from like the left front of the apartment, it was coming from like the right front of the apartment, if you will. And it was just like it was like a whirlwind all around. Like we ran upstairs, like closed the door. I remember we actually put a dresser in front of his bedroom door, and just kind of like stood in his bedroom. Um, waiting, hoping that if we just were quiet, it would stop. And it did. Like it took a few minutes, but after a few minutes, we just kind of stood there quietly, and it stopped. We brought ourselves to finally, like, you know, look outside the window. Um, After everything went kind of quiet, and there was nothing out there. It's just just pitch black, and aside from like the street lights and what have you, and just quiet. We didn't really say anything about it. I guess we didn't really like want to talk about it because it was like, don't want to bring anything back. I guess if it's gone, let's just leave it at that. Uh, we finally, fell asleep. I don't know what time it was. I do remember his dad being really upset when they finally like woke us up at like 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. He was like trying to open the door and he couldn't get in the bedroom because there's like still like there's a dresser in front of the door. Uh, finally made our way downstairs, had breakfast, cereal or whatever, and the mom, I remember being kind of like, this mom being like, you're not guys gonna stay inside. It's summertime. I want you guys to get outside. You're not gonna sleep inside all day. You're not gonna spend your Saturday sleeping inside all day, kind of a thing. We didn't want to go outside, even like in the middle of the day. Summertime, it's bright, it's nice outside. Like we just did not want to. We did not want to bring ourselves to go out. And finally, around noon or so, she made us go to the store. It was like a little grocery store close by, and you could kind of cut through the path or whatever behind the apartments. And she finally like talked us into going to the store for her, and that was like, I guess, like the first time once we got out of the house we really started talking about it. Like, oh my God, I can't believe, and dude, you're so stupid. I can't believe you shot your BB gun. You're so idiot. Da, 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 da. And as we're walking through the apartment complex, we noticed that there are like those electrical boxes that you find. Those like little small like metal green electrical boxes throughout like apartment complexes, like all busted open, like pulled open, almost like with like a crowbar or something crazy. There's like wires hanging all out of it, and nothing like chewed through or ripped apart, but like everything was just like, it was gutted, like everything was just kind of like hanging out. Like, what the hell? Like, what would do that? Like, what what is the point of that? Like, I wouldn't vandalize an electrical box. I'd be afraid I'd, stick a metal crowbar in an electrical box and start jamming it around. Like, that just didn't like make any sense to me. And as we were like walking around and checking out stuff, like we start to notice that it's not just one or two electrical boxes that have been like pulled open or ripped apart, but every single electrical box, every single electrical panel in the apartment complex had been pulled open, almost like a milk carton, like a paper milk carton from school. And like everything pulled out. Like I said, again, nothing like ripped out or ripped apart, but like all of its insides just like, ugh, like it's like intestines just spilling open from a stomach wound. We almost wanted to check to see if all of them were like that, but after seeing like 6 or 7, half dozen or whatever it was that were, we had seen enough. We basically made a straight line to the grocery store, grabbed whatever his mom needed, and head right back to his apartment. Called my dad. He picked us both up, and we both stayed the night at my house that night. It was extremely creepy, extremely freaky for me. I had never seen anything like that in my life. Still to this day, I've never seen anything like that in my life. But I could tell my friend was extremely like shaken by the experience because he clearly knew these things were out there. Like he clearly knew what time they walked through the apartment complex that night. He knew what night they came through. You know, he knew their pattern. But I don't think he'd ever come in contact with them or been as close in contact with them as he was the night where I stayed the night at his house. I mean, maybe there was something in there where he felt like, oh, if I have a buddy with me, I can go out there and I can venture around and I won't be so scared. But you could see in his face when we were walking through the apartment complex, it was just like he did not. I felt bad when he had to go home Sunday. Like, you could tell he did not want to go. He did not want to go back. I never stayed the night at his house ever again after that. I'd stayed the night at his house a few times, but that was the very last time I'd ever stayed the night at his house. And the very last time I'd ever seen anything that resembled a demon dog or anything like that. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out here in Rob's Arcade, and let me know what you think about this story. All the stories I'm going to share with you here on the Haunting of Rob's Arcade are 100% true. But let me know what you think of this one. Let me know if you would have gone out to the middle of the woods with your friend, or the middle of the apartment dark complex with your friend in search of the demon dogs out there. Always good hanging out with you guys. I hope you're not too creepy and scared tonight. Hope you can get some sleep. Oh, shit. Literally, I just jumped right now. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, I'm going back inside. Where's the cabin? Where's the cabin? Alright guys, I'm heading back inside where it's nice and safe. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Hope again you're not too scared. Hope you can get some sleep tonight. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button. Or if you didn't like it, hit that dislike button. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys too. Let me hear any ghost stories you might have of your own. Like I said, comment down below. Let me know if you believe in ghosts. If you don't, simple yes or no. You know, or you can leave a little story yourself. You know, I'll read anything you guys put down there, and try to comment back and get back to you guys. Look forward to more exciting episodes of Rob's Arcade coming up here in the future. And as we get closer to Halloween, look for more episodes of The Haunting of Rob's Arcade. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. This isn't goodbye. It's simply to be continued. And until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Later, guys.